Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode number 12. They said it would never be done. It is the 3BeerPod. Good evening. It's Chris and Tim. What's going on there, buddy?
Hey, how's it going today, Cloudy?
Very good. Very good.
Good stuff here today.
We love to recap the previous episode. So, episode number 11, we were lined up to talk to CFL great Canadian Olympian Jesse Lumsden, and Jesse got stuck in traffic. So we filled a good 40 minutes, and I think we needed that. We got a lot of things off our chest.
Yeah,
and that was fun.
It was fun. I thought it turned out well. It was the episode that Jesse couldn't make it.
Yep.
And we're gonna reschedule him back, eh?
That's right.
We'll get him back on. No, I had fun. I think we told some interesting ones going on there. Generated some conversation, and it was good. I had a blast, man. It was good.
Now, one of the things we got when we got off air, when we basically shut the recording down, Jesse jumped on like right at that moment, and you could tell he was rushed. And I haven't seen Jesse since he was like a 24-year-old kid. He has two children running around the house, and I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Do you want to do it now? You want to? So we'll get him on coming up here in July on the 3BeerPod. So he will. I'm
thinking we should have recorded something with him so people actually believed us. I'm not sure if people are buying what we're selling until we actually produce Jesse Lumsden in the future, but we got him. We got him.
He'll be on. He'll be on. All right, Timber, let's get episode 12 started here with What You Drinkin', Bud, as we always take a look at what we're tilting back here tonight on the 3BeerPod. You've got some there. What do you have?
So last week when we talked about what we were going to drink, I said I was going to drink this in the after show. Mm-hmm. And I got kind of lost in the after show. Hopefully we can talk about the after show after this show or at the end of the show. I got lost, so I didn't end up drinking this Super 8. So I talked about Super 8 in episode 11. I'm actually going to drink it tonight. Looking forward to it. I haven't actually cracked one yet, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's the double IPA from Sons of Kent, 8.8%, which will get you where you're going in 88 IBUs. And then also in the last episode, I talked about making it down to Kingsville, to the Grove, and this black lager from the Grove, I have had a couple, I'm not gonna lie, and man, delicious. What a nice, I love a good black lager, and this one was good. And then I got another one from the Grove. I'm gonna finish these off here while they're fresh. This is Peachy Mothered Pucker. It's a kettle sour, and again, not overly sour, very drinkable. I think you would like that one. You probably had that one at the brew pub there, right?
Yeah. I love this brewery. So tonight it's a bit of an unboxing. What my kid watches on YouTube all the time. I've got the Muskoka Brewery.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So it's an unboxing. I don't even really know what's in here. So
where did you get that?
It's the old Sobes.
No way.
I did. So, and I get this every summer. I'm a big fan of the Muskoka. So
yeah, there's some good beers there for sure.
Getting excited because I'm going up that way. So I thought have to get. So one of them tonight will be the Muskoka Craft Lager.
Craft Lager, solid.
There you go. There's two of those in there.
How many's in there? How many's in this pack right now?
It's a 6-pack. It's a 6.
Six beer. Oh, Detour.
Yes.
Detour is such a good beer.
It is.
It really is a good drinking summer beer.
It's a solid.
You got two of those?
Two of those, and then what do we have in here? Because I haven't seen this yet. I've got the it's a light lager. It's a Tread Lightly.
Oh yeah, they've been pumping out a lot of advertisements for this one.
I haven't had this one yet.
On the social medias. There, no, I haven't had that one either. I'd be interested to see what that one. Yeah, just go for it, eh?
I'm gonna crack into it. You know what? I'm not prepared with a glass here tonight, so we'll go without here tonight.
Just chugging cans, eh?
Yeah. Also, tonight may be the last episode of me, Timmer, in my construction zone. As you can see, the work being done here. We may have a full operating kitchen here in the next 2 weeks. Well, we may have walls. May have walls. So
hey, we should probably talk about your haircut too, bud.
Yeah, look at that, eh?
COVID haircut. New style here. We don't know what the original style was, but because when we started the pod, things were overgrown already, I think.
Yeah.
It's tight. Looks good.
Feeling good. I feel lighter.
New product too?
No. Nope. Stuck.
Same product. Dippity do.
Not dippity do. I couldn't tell you what it's called, but I have got so many bottles of it. When it goes on sale, I buy 5 or 6 of them.
No way.
5 or 6 of them.
That's
5 or
exciting
6.
stuff.
It's tough.
That's a solid haircut, Cloudy.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, we've got to get our sponsor in. Big thanks to Shauna over at the Health House. Thank you, Shauna.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Shauna.
you for being a support there. And there is another sponsor, which I can tease you. We'll have some more information on him and or her coming up here in the next few weeks.
Him and or her? What?
That's all I'll leave.
Oh my God. This
I'll
is
take it
exciting. I don't even know what this tease is.
We have a little bit of a beer buzz, and then we're going to get to our guest here tonight. It is Chris Hope, former Snowbird from
Really
Blenheim,
cool.
Ontario. And later in the show, from Red Barn Brewing, will be the family over there. They've got some exciting news this week. So a little Blenheim connection in the pod here tonight. But before we get there, Timmer, just a quick beer buzz. Last week was Craft Beer Week in Ontario, and we had talked about that.
Yeah, I had a couple craft beers last week.
Well, you did your part because a lot of the MPPs were tweeting out and sending out messages and talking to the media last week about Ontarians. Is that what we're called? Ontarians?
I think so.
To get out there and support your local breweries. And we had talked about that on episode number 11. So that was a big push last week. And obviously getting into the summer and more of the beer drinking months, then support your local breweries, even outside of Craft Beer Week, to support them, local businesses.
I'm not going to lie. Did some more online ordering from Ontario craft brewers.
Yep.
Little late on the shipping, but that's okay. I can wait. I'll wait for these ones. The last ones came too quick, I think. My expectations got really high about how fast these things were going to get here. So these ones didn't come as quick. Not going to throw anyone under the bus on that. I'm just saying they're not here yet. So maybe next episode I'll have some.
Not going to name names.
No, not naming names. Throwing anyone under the bus in the craft beer industry today.
I don't want to buzz through the beer buzz tonight, but there was one headline in the Toronto Star late last week too about the did the pandemic kill Doug Ford's promise of beer in corner stores? Remember that was a big part of his platform, and obviously with the pandemic, he's obviously had to refocus what his goals are and take care of Ontario and leading them through this. So a lot of them are saying that hey, now that restaurants can sell it right out when you place an order and you order spaghetti and meatballs or whatever, you can get a bottle of wine or some beer. He said that pandemic may have killed it, but it was an interesting read.
I'm interested to see how that plays out. I have not ordered any takeout with beer, mostly just because I have a good stock at home of fresh beers. But I know people are, and I think that's cool. I'd always questioned the beer in convenience stores, not like a morality thing. It was just I want the freshest beer possible. And I didn't want these. I didn't know if people were going to be going to convenience stores to buy craft beer, so I didn't want to go in there and get beer that was six months old. That was my whole thing with it. If it was going to be fresh, sure, convenience is good, but I want it to be fresh. And right now, I got some fresh beers, man, and that's what I'm pretty excited about these days.
Tim likes his fresh beer.
I do love fresh beer.
I think we need to get to our guest. Pretty excited about this here tonight. Are we ready?
No, I missed it. I messed it. Oh,
try it again.
Yes.
There we go. There's the doorbell. Let's pull in. This is Chris Hope from Blenheim. There you see him next to one of the Snowbirds back in the day. Here's Chris Hope. Good night. Good evening, Chris. How you doing?
Not too bad, Chris. Tim, great to be with you.
We're excited to talk to you. Growing up in this area, we had heard, well, and it wasn't that long ago, but the fact that wasn't that long ago, but the fact that we had a local guy from Blenheim who was one of the Canadian Snowbird pilots, I always thought was really, really cool. And I am pretty excited to connect with you here tonight. This is pretty neat.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be with you. I was very lucky to have 5 years with the team, 3 as a wingman and then 2 as the lead. And be able to show the skill, professionalism, and teamwork of the Canadian Forces through North America. We were able to go coast to coast to coast and see some very interesting parts of the country.
So let's go all the way back, and we'll go right through your years with the Snowbirds. You're from Blenheim.
Yes, sir.
Where did you go to school, and how did you get towards becoming a pilot?
Well, my mom and dad took me to the London Air Show when I was a young gentleman. And then I got involved with the Air Cadets. They were with the Kinsmen and Cadets that sponsored the Air Cadets in Blenheim 291 Squadron. And then I got involved at the Chatham Airport with the gliding organization From there, I was going to high school in Blenheim at the Blenheim District High. After that, I moved on to college. I got my private license and my private and my glider pilot's license at Chatham Airport, and then went off to Thunder Bay to go to aviation college, where I got a commercial license on floats and skis at Confederation College.
Wow.
And then I went and flew in the bush, and then came back and worked for Santerre at the Chatham Airport and instructed and flew charter there. And then what was it? That was 85, and then in 86 I joined the Air Force in January, and then went through all the training with them. Got my wings in 88, and then instructed in Moose Jaw. Then got married in 89. We got posted to Texas, my wife and I, and our first child in 92. I flew T-38s with the NATO school in Texas for 3.5 years. And then we came back to Winnipeg. I was back on the Tudor. And then I was overseeing instructor training in the Air Force. And then I got promoted. I went to Moose Jaw. We set up the new training program. I was the chief flying instructor out there for a while. Then into the headquarters, where I was responsible for oversight of all pilot training in the Air Force.
Wow.
And which was a ground job. I really missed the flying. So in the fall of 02, or the summer of 02, I applied to the Snowbirds and went there in the fall of 02. Did the tryout. I was lucky enough to make the team, and then I was there for the next 3 years. Flew in the number 5 position, right in the back of the formation, but the best view in the house.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure.
What a story from glider to float planes to the Canadian Snowbirds. Like, was there ever a time you're up in one of the float planes and you're over the bush and you were thinking, I'm going to do a loop-de-loop here and just make this happen?
Won't do that.
All right, good to know. We won't try that one, Cloudy.
Yeah, I guess we won't be giving that one a shot. Can you? I want to make sure I address you properly. It was Major Chris Hope, or is it still? What do we call you?
It's Chris. Like it's they use the term Major Retired. So it's I've been out of the Air Force now for 8 years, so it's I'm on to my next chapter now. How's that? But yes, my final rank in the Air Force was Major.
Really.
That's a sweet ring to it, though, eh? The Major Retired. Like,
that's my wife's a Major penis butt. So there you go.
Go with Major Retired for sure.
That's really, really neat. I don't even know where to start because I think there's so many little pieces of it that's really neat. I would love to know how to fly, but I would be scared to death on those initial flights starting out. Like, what's that like? You're at the Chatham Airport, your first few flights. Is it just like a dream come true?
To me, it was. I mean, I grew up in the Blenheim area, working on the local farms and things like that. And believe it or not, I'm afraid of heights.
All right.
Some of the barns and things like that, and you fall out and you get up, you dust yourself off, and away you go. So getting into a little airplane, you're always working with professionals in aviation. And my mother she hates to fly, but I've always told her, I said, in aviation, it's all professionals. Almost anybody can get a driver's license, and you don't know who you're driving with on the road, but in the air, everybody's had to go through specific training to get their licenses and those types of things. So I've never been concerned in the air I've been flying now for, oh my Lord, 40 some odd years now.
Oh, wow. So I've only been in an airplane 4 times. It took me till I was 31 years old to get in an airplane first. I always had this fear of crashing into a mountain. That was I don't know. That was just my fear. I was going to crash into a mountain. But then my first flight was actually to Las Vegas. So you actually fly over the mountain. I'm like, all right, well, I conquered this one. I just haven't been anywhere since then. You've seen all of Canada with flying with the Snowbirds. Like, what's the best sights to see here from your position in that cockpit flying with the Snowbirds? What's the best thing you've seen, Chris?
Something. There's not one place that you can ever put your finger on. I mean, it's amazing. Some of the things that I've seen when you go into Newfoundland, just how the landscape is and how nice the people are. You go to the East Coast and it's the same thing, with the different coves and things and how nice the people are. Same thing in Quebec. Ontario, that's where I grew up. So, when you're flying around your hometown, it's amazing. In Ontario, Canada Day, when you fly over Parliament on Canada Day and you see literally the millions of people that are down there, it was amazing. And then we would go downtown afterwards and interact with those people. It was something else. Manitoba is where I live now and where my wife is from. So we would come here and it had smaller shows. But one of the neatest things that we did was we went to a place called Lynn Lake, Manitoba, and it's a very small community. They basically throw out the red carpet, and there wasn't a restaurant in town open when we got there. So the ladies auxiliary put on a turkey dinner for us when we came in. And that's the types of things that happen throughout the experience and how well people treated us. And I'm hoping that we treated them on the other side of it too.
For sure.
I thought it was funny how you explained to your mom that professionals are flying and anybody can get their driver's license, but there's professionals flying. There are still some dumb drivers, though. You go down Marlborough Street in Blenheim. There's sometimes you got to use one of your fingers to direct traffic, right?
Well, yes. No, I'm not saying. Yeah, driving is interesting.
Now, is there some pilots that are like that? Like, everybody's at this level driving. There's some that are like maybe a little below. But is there some pilots that you got to use some fingers to direct them?
Well, it's people. It's like anything else. If you're proficient or not, how often do you fly? How often do you drive? During this pandemic, there's a lot of people that haven't driven for an extended period of time. So if you're in a small town, it's different when you got a little bit of traffic. But if you're operating out of a bigger airport and you've got more traffic, it becomes much more complex. So it really comes down to proficiency. Why I say that is my son right now, my youngest, is going through his pilot training. He just wrote his exam on Tuesday, so I'm hoping he passed. But I've been doing lots of flying with him. And he's been getting different experiences with me, going to different airports, doing different things. Right. And it's been, well, to me, it's a lot of fun just to be able to teach him.
I bet you.
That sounds cool. Really, really wild. Your time with the Snowbirds, there's a lot of things. How many hours did you have in the cockpit with the Snowbirds?
Well, I mean, we flew about 330 hours a year. So over 5 years, 1,600 hours, somewhere in that ballpark is what I did. The tutor was my baby. I took care of her. She took care of me. I think I ended up with about 5,300 hours in the airplane.
Wow.
So, yeah, I pretty well knew it inside and out. It was like putting on an old pair of blue jeans. It just felt very comfortable crawling in the airplane.
Yeah, I bet.
That Tudor jet has come under fire here recently. We can get into that, but built in the 60s, still in use right now, and there's some people saying that it's outdated and there should be some new planes available for the Snowbirds. What are your thoughts on that?
The Tudor is a wonderful airplane. It's probably the most balanced flight control airplane I've ever flown. You actually, there's no computers, there's no nothing. You just get in there and you fly it. It's all conventional controls. So it's an amazing airplane from that perspective. She's starting to show her age like I am. So, you can only fly the airplanes so long and then they start to fatigue out. Parts wear out. The maintenance on the airplanes to me is second to none. The people that are taking care of those airplanes are just doing a wonderful job. But you can only bend the metal so many times before it's done. So I'm hopeful that the government at a certain point will see that their way forward to give a new fleet to the Snowbirds.
Obviously, the Snowbirds, May 17th was a horrible day in the history of the Canadian Snowbirds and Captain Jen Casey with an accident in Kamloops that she passed away. It's the 8th crash in the 50-year history of the Canadian Snowbirds. When you hear that news, when that news comes out May 17th, what do you think?
I saw the video within minutes of it and your heart sinks. It's like losing one of your own family. Unfortunately, with my time on the team, I was around with 2 accidents. I lost a good friend of mine on the 10th of December of 2004. Watched him have a midair in just south of Moose Jaw and perished in the accident. I also had a friend of mine jump out of an airplane in Thunder Bay in the summer of 2005, just before the Canadian International Air Show. And I mean, it's stuff happens. It's the airplanes, the engines, everything else were very good in their time. And like I said, the maintenance is phenomenal, but over a period of time, things become outdated. When that airplane was designed, the ejection seat, that Jen was sitting in there, it was good in its day, but it's 60 years old now. We've done updates to it. We've done certain things to try to make it better, but it's still a 60-year-old piece of kit that needs to, be taken care of. So, it's probably going to cost a lot of money to update the seats, but it's also going to cost a lot of money to update the airframes. So, being a Canadian, and when I was the team lead, I wrote a 10-page article or paper to the then Minister of Defense, Mr. McKay, and we actually sat down and had a chat in Sydney over it. And what my thoughts were is the Tudor was Canadian built by Canadair out of Montreal. There was only 190 of them built, and they were built specifically for the Canadian Forces. First one came off the line in 63. That day, the one that I was flying was 19 days younger than me. Wow. So, it's just, still 29. That's 20-year-old brain, 55-year-old body. But, but I would love to be able to see something that could be done within our own country. Right. We have some wonderful aviation organizations that could potentially build another Tudor, a trainer that could be built in Canada by Canadians for Canadian training. Because the program in Moose Jaw that I was involved with in 2000 is starting to come to an end also. So there is many different options there where you might be able to use the same airplane for pilot training in Moose Jaw as they would use for the Snowbird demonstration show.
You mentioned a couple of accidents that you were involved in, or that you were happened when you were with the Snowbirds. How many close calls? You're flying within. How close are you? What's the closest you get in a formation?
I mean, there's times you're 3 or 4 feet from the other airplane.
Ooh.
That's not social distancing. That's crazy.
I've had a couple times where I flew in the number 5 position. So you have lead, 4, which is right behind him, and then I was 5. So I was second line of stern. And I've actually seen the fire in number 4's engine. There's a bump that goes through the formation.
Wow.
Yeah, you have, but again, you're not training to fly that tight from day one. You're doing it after 100 formation trips that you've been training with the same people for the same duration, and you're all on the same page at the same time, which is it. Be part of a team like that was amazing. Just to be able to, it's a symbiotic relationship.
And you've got to be on your game every show, and you have to be. And the guy in 4th position and in 1st position, that's a team more so than I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, and as a wingman, you did certain things, but as the lead, it was my job to make sure that everybody was on their game. You had to look around the table and make sure everybody was there, because if not, things could go sideways in a hurry in the air.
Yeah.
Tim, remember that softball playoff game we had? And I looked you in the eye and I said, Timmer, you don't have it today, man.
We didn't have. And I sat on the bench and had some sunflower seeds.
Yeah, he had a late night last night.
That was every game.
We're not getting a hit in Dover 2 pitch in the 8th position. We need to pull you out there. So after the accident in Kamloops, I did read an article where some said it's time to ground the Snowbirds. They'll fly again. What's your thoughts?
I'm hopeful they will. Being the year of the COVID and everything being canceled, this is the 50th anniversary of the Snowbirds. So they just unfortunately canceled the reunion for this fall because it was going back. The Snowbirds cost money. Don't get me wrong. It's a military organization and it costs money. But to be able to go out to some of these places to support the organizations for charities, different things that are out there. I can't remember how many times we were supporting sick kids and things like that really tugged at your heartstrings. And you can't put a dollar value on it. But I am hopeful that the government will see its way forward to continue to support the team and, being out there, because it is a demonstration squadron, but I think it's much more than that. I think after 50 years, you'll see the team has become almost woven into the Canadian fabric. 100%. If somebody's Snowbirds, you're either thinking about a geriatric Canadian that's going south, or the aerobatic team. So that's sort of how it goes.
And Operation Inspiration was something Canada needed at the time, and I know Captain Jennifer Casey was a big part in making that happen too, and she'll certainly be remembered. And yeah, we hope they do get to fly again. I do have a couple questions. Okay, so you've flown all over the world as a Canadian Snowbird. Where's the furthest show that you've flown in?
And just the Snowbirds have only flown in North America, and as far south as Mexico. So right down in Brownsville. Down on the coast in Texas. I've been Daytona Beach, right on the water, San Diego, all the way up into Alaska in Anchorage.
Wow.
We tried to get into a few other places in the north. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate with us, but I've been all the way out to Gander, Newfoundland, Stephenville, places like that. And it's just, small towns. It's I'm trying to remember the place that was north of London we went into, and it had a 4,000-foot strip, and we went in there and landed and put on a show for them.
Is it the Aylmer Air Show? Was that the one up there? I seem to remember that.
Times,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's but there's a lot of go into the bigger airplanes can't. That's the Tudor has a straight wing on it, and it doesn't need a lot of runway to operate.
When you were out at these shows, did you ever run into the U.S. team, the Blue Angels, and was there a bit of a rivalry between the two teams?
Well, you run the Blues and the Thunderbirds. So the Blues are part of the Marines and the Navy.
Okay. Yep.
The Birds are the U.S. Air Force.
Oh.
My first year on the team in 2003 also was the 100th anniversary of powered flight in North America. So all three teams got together in Dayton, Ohio, and it was an air show to celebrate the 100th anniversary. So yes, I met the other teams. Yes, there is a rivalry, and but they're all wonderful people trying to do the same things. Right. I will say their organizations are much larger than the squadron that I worked with. 431 Squadron is about 100 people. So you take 25-26 on the road, and the other folks are at home taking care of the airplanes at home, the administration, all the things that support you going on the road. Where when you look at the Air Force and the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels, they have a support aircraft that goes on the road with them. So you got Fat Albert as a Hercules with the Blues, and a lot of times there's a tanker and a support aircraft to go with the Thunderbirds.
No,
so the Snowbirds don't have that. They're a very tight, very structured organization that goes down the road. And I'll use the term thrifty because there wasn't a lot of excess that we had when we went on the road.
That's really cool. Chris Hope is with us right now. Major retired Chris Hope from the Canadian Snowbirds. 2011 was your last flight, Chris?
Yeah, I left the team in November of 11. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you had mentioned you still fly for WestJet?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm a first officer at WestJet. I've been there. Well, in July it'll be 8 years.
So when you welcome the passengers onto the plane, do you ever drop in former Snowbird? I've been within 4 feet of another plane. We might have that happen today.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks.
Some of the captains do that, and I don't recommend it because you don't want to spook them. I try to deal with every guest that comes on board like my mother, a nervous flyer, and make sure that they're.
I appreciate that, Chris. I would like to fly with you sometime. Now, hearing that, I know I'm in good hands with WestJet. I'm gonna just check around next time I'm going. Is there any way I can book that one?
Yeah, things are starting to look up for us now. I mean,
for sure,
the pandemic really kicked our buns, but July is starting to look better. So
yeah, that's good.
I'm hoping it'll start to pick up here as long as we can keep everything under control.
For
sure. We're so thankful for you to talk for you to find the time to talk to us. Somebody, when I mentioned that you were going to be on, they wanted to ask you about your flyovers at Gregory Drive School. When you got to fly over Gregory Drive or some of the local schools that obviously you had connections, that must have just been a thrill outside of all the other school and flybys that you did all over the place.
Well, it was because you have the personal connection. And Gregory Drive, I actually went and spoke to the kids in the school, so it's not just the flyby. You go and you talk to the kids on the ground.
Wow.
I did the same thing in Blenheim. I went to a couple of the schools there to talk to the kids, and it's, it becomes very personal.
For sure.
People I grew up with are now school teachers. So St. Thomas, Lisa DeLange, I can't remember her married name right now, but she teaches in St. Thomas, is retiring this year. I went and spoke to her school when we were there, and it's that personal touch that you get. It was really amazing.
Yeah.
I got one more question, Tim. I don't know if you have anything else.
No, go for it.
I've always wondered. I've been to CFL games. I've watched Grey Cup games, and then you see at the Super Bowls when they do the anthem, and at the very end of the anthem, the flyby happens at the exact right time. Are you just circling off in the distance? And is there a cue like, all right, 5, 4? How does that happen?
Well, there's a lot of things going on in the background. You're working with an organization that usually is pretty good on timings. So everybody gets their watch set to the same time. We would normally plan a route that has, let's say, a 2-minute run-in. So the predetermined anthems were the easier ones because they knew when they hit play, it was easier. The ones where somebody was singing and ad-libbing, that became very difficult. But I had my 2 coordinators or advanced and safety pilots that were on the ground, and they would relay timings to me so I could push it up a little bit or slow down and try to make the timing.
Oh.
Like a Shania decides to go off on a different medley.
You got
Pull the brake.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Chris, we've got our friends from Red Barn. They are standing by. Let's see if they're ready. Hey guys, Red Barn. There's Red Barn. They're popping it out. Denny, buddy, how you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Really good, really good. I want to introduce you real quick. This is Major Retired Chris Hope, former lead with the Canadian Snowbirds. He's from Blenheim, Ontario. And I had a real quick idea because you guys are just getting set to brew. What about at one point you name one of your beers Major Retired?
I like it.
You like that?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that we can get the Snowbirds flying over top of the barn here to the Chatham Airport.
Oh, yeah.
It's right in the path. Right in the path.
Got it. It's up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Denny, hold on there tight. Chris, we do appreciate your time here tonight. Thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck with your flights. And say hi to the family. And do you want to say a quick hi to everybody in Blenheim?
I did. I really appreciate it, guys. It's been a pleasure. To all the friends and family in Blenheim, I hope you enjoy the show, and all the best to the folks in Southern Ontario.
Thanks, Chris. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Take
Major
care.
Retired, Chris Hope. I love the fact that Major retired.
I
think
know.
that's
I want to
really,
be
really cool.
retired at some point in time. I was thinking about it this year. It's not in the cards.
No, that is
Can
really
you
neat.
imagine flying in a snowbird though? Oh man.
No, I cannot.
The answer is no. No, I can't.
No.
I cannot imagine it.
No. Sometimes driving down the 401 is a little too much for me.
Well, I talked about my driving ability in episode 11, so snowbirds is not on my list of things to do. But man, would that be awesome? I do want to check if I fly WestJet next time. I'll be like, Chris Hope flying this bad boy. No, I'll wait. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait for Chris Hope.
We're gonna double back.
I'm in.
That's awesome. Hey, let's pull in Denny. Denny's here from Red Barn Brewing. Our friends from episode number 2, back for number 12 here tonight. What's going on, Denny?
How's it going, guys?
Really good, bud. Really good. Where are you? Are you in the barn right now?
Yeah. So I don't know if the glare is bad or not, but this is the stage area. So
I like the sound of that, Denny.
Yeah, I can kind of. I don't know if you can kind of see it here. Point the laptop down. We got a little stage in the corner. All that nice wood that we put up. So I was gonna go in the brew side, but Dan's brewing right now, so it's kind of loud in there.
Hey,
what you making today, Denny?
We are making our citrus blonde. So it's
that's nice.
Very nice. Good summer drink called 5 Acre Island.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's
So we
fantastic.
talked to you, your wife Sandy, and your brother-in-law Dan, who is you just mentioned is brewing in the other room. Back in I don't even know, Tim. How long ago did we start? It was episode 2.
Episode 2. I don't know. April.
Wow. So when we talked to you back then, we were in the midst of pandemic season, and we were just like we didn't know what was going on. At least now, I think we see a little bit of the end of the tunnel. What has changed in the 10 weeks, 2.5 months since we've talked to you?
For us, it's, there's been some good things and some bad things. I think the good thing is that we had more time to get some of the tasks we wanted to complete done. So right now we're, finishing up the tasting room. In the pandemic, we were able to start brewing. We have beer that's almost ready to go now, and we're just kind of waiting to see what they say next, and we'll kind of move from there.
So this helped you then. This was don't want to say a good thing, but it played well into your business plan, right?
I think the good thing is that we didn't have coolers on. We didn't have fermenters going at that time. We saved expenses that way. But now that's we're brewing now, and we have some product, and getting inching closer here.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That's really neat. So we did have a couple questions after episode 2, and maybe we didn't hit on it. Is how do we find Red Barn? I know you're not open yet, but when it is time, where are we going to find you at?
Our address? Yeah, so we're in between Blenheim and Charing Cross on Middle Line. So it's one of the main roads that goes right into Blenheim. And you can't really miss us. That's the big red barn right off of Lagoon. You can see it very clearly from Middle Line. And it's I think it's 40 feet tall. So
yeah, I've been by a couple times, Denny, and I keep wanting to just fly in there. And I know we're not ready yet, but it's so tempting. It looks so good. The building looks awesome. So I know we're excited to get out there and have some beers. And we must be getting close to that, are we?
Well, I wanted to share some news for you guys and for the viewers on the 3BeerPod, because that was awesome that you guys had us on, and I know that you like supporting us. We are going to be launching our retail store on July 1st.
Nice.
All
right. That's
finally coming together. What we're going to do, we don't have the tasting room side done, but we have occupancy for our brew room. And, in this COVID, I think they're giving some leniency for businesses to conduct business for cash flow and other reasons. So we were able to get our retail license for the retail store in our brew room. So we're going to have a brew room retail store. So it's not part of our business plan, but we just kind of roll with the punches, and we'll make it work somehow. So it's still tight timelines to get all this done, because we only got a couple of weeks. Well, what do we have now? It's July 1st.
A week. Yeah, you got about a week. No pressure. No pressure.
So it's going to be exciting. So we have 4 beers in the fermenters right now. Our first beer that we made, batch 1, that's going to be a growler sale only. And then the other 3, we're going to be having cans. So,
wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we figured it's the timing is good. July 1st. It's very patriotic for our country, and I think our colors kind of are red and white. So it's
that's fantastic. Sounds like a road trip down to Blunt. That's got to be exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. But at the same time, it's kind of our ease into this, like to open up a store and a tasting room, everything at once. It's
right.
I give kudos for everyone who has done that, but this kind of gets us our feet wet and figure out things. And there's gonna be lots of tweaking, but especially now with COVID, we have to have the right precautions and
for sure,
and the lines and all that. So it's
I got some chills there. That's exciting, because Denny, I don't know how long we've been talking now, but just to get you to this point, you and your family to finally welcome people in to at least purchase your product. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, it really is exciting. Just that, like I said before, like people want to buy, our t-shirts, our hats and stuff. And then you see it around town and someone wearing it. It's really cool, right? Yeah. Like that people want to wear something that we kind of started. So
now, will those be available too at the retail store?
Yep. Yeah, we'll have t-shirts and hats and glasses and a couple other fun things. So
June 30th, leading into Canada Day, are you going to get any sleep or?
no, I don't think we're going to sleep.
That's fantastic.
That's
I don't
really
want to sleep here, because it'd be a little hot, but it'll be fun, and it'd be nice to see faces out that I haven't seen in a long time, because we've been working so hard on this for all these years. Like, we don't get to see everyone all the time, and now they can come to us.
That's awesome, man. So Canada Day, the retail store opens. You'll have 4 brews at Red Barn Brewing. What are your hours? Do you have those nailed down yet?
I'm thinking we'll probably do like 9 to 5 that day.
Okay.
And then we'll see how things go, and then we'll probably open on that weekend as well. But we're just playing by ear. Definitely Canada Day, and after that, I'm not sure, but
that's fantastic though. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. People are gonna support. I know this community and the craft beer community is always looking for new things to try. So I know people will be out there supporting you, and we're pretty excited about it here for sure.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing it with us first. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, this is
really cool.
Appreciate you having us on, and we'll come on again for the next announcement we have.
We want to do a show there at some point. We got to figure that out. Okay.
You can have the stage if you want here.
Oh man.
Dreams come true right there, Cloudy. That's what we're looking for right there.
That's when we debut Major Retired. whatever we come up with. Danny, we appreciate it. Say hi to Sandy and Dan and the entire family. Congrats. July 1st, Canada Day. What a better way to kick things off at Red Barn Brewing. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate it. That's awesome.
That is really cool.
Man,
actually,
is that not fun right there? That's fun right there.
Should have flashed the beer buzz. That's real beer buzz right there.
That's some solid beer buzz. You know what? That's great for the community, like our community, but it's great for craft beer. You know, people being able to trying new things. That's fantastic. I was just thinking back to the Chris Hope.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure how you get into a plane. Like, how do you start flying? I might have ruined it for myself. I watched we talked last episode about Man Tracker.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Mayday. Are you familiar with the show Mayday?
No, Mayday. No.
Mayday. Yeah. So basically a 1-hour program talking about plane crash. That's
no.
Really? Oh man. Yeah. So Mayday. So any plane that's crashed, they like reenact it and then talk about what happened, what went wrong, what caused it. No. And then
I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
I know. So that's my problem, right? So I've watched Mayday episodes my whole life too, or in my impressionable years here, and now I'm like, no. And there's like stupid stuff. You know how we said like they're all professionals, and I know they are, but sometimes some guys screw up, and they crash into mountains. So
this is by far not a professional podcast. We're just here, a couple of dudes having fun. And all I wanted to do was say to Chris, like, I just want to say, how cool is it just to shoot the smoke out the back and do the loop-de-loop? Like,
I know. You're such a professional dude, right? And you're just like, hey man, how do you shoot the smoke out? What's the smoke machine look like?
Or like, is there anything cooler than here? Let me see if I can find it. Like, look at this stud. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Like this, just like
flying from town to town, kicking ass as a snowbird.
Kicking ass and taking names.
God, I wish I could I wish I could kick an ass or take a name.
That's, you know what? And it's such a cool story. And not to bring it down again, but when the whole story about Captain Jen Casey happened, like it was, I think there was so many Canadians who went, that stinks, because we've seen them fly over. We see the excitement of hey, the Snowbird's going to fly over today at 2:15 in the afternoon, and schools will get out just so they can see a 3-second flyover. And it was the whole idea of it.
I remember lining up as a kid on the Bear Line Road, by the school, and we like all the cars parked for miles around, and everyone just sitting in their car, and then there was the Snowbirds, and they're like,
and they were just flying. They weren't even doing a trick.
No, they're just flying over, and it was so badass. The Snowbird, Canadian badasses for sure, and what it means to the Canadian armed forces is amazing, right? Yeah. But I wish we could have asked them some questions, but then I was like, Can't ask the dude how the smoke machine works.
We got to be semi-professional.
What?
But like him and the whole squadron flying over Peace Tower on Canada Day, and they get that iconic shot. And
I felt that, dude, when he was talking about
Yeah.
flying over on Canada Day. That's Canada right there, like that's cool. That's cool stuff. I don't know. That's so cool.
And he's from Blenheim,
I
Ontario.
know, that's the other thing. These Blenheim boys. Boys are so cool.
Yeah.
We got nothing, Cloudy. Let's move to Blenheim. A good real estate agent?
No.
No. I got nothing. Wouldn't that be good? We need a good real estate agent.
The internet in Blenheim, though,
Right. And
that's coming.
His chopped up a couple times, and I was like, well, it's like a throwback to Blenheim Internet, which is going on here. And then Denny, I didn't know if we were going to get Denny on. He was good.
Yeah.
Denny's in a barn in Blenheim, though. Like, that's fine. I'm not going there for free Wi-Fi.
Wow, what a show. I enjoyed it. Episode number 12 of the 3BeerPod. Make sure you download it wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Pod, Google Podcasts, and what's the other one? Spotify.
Yeah.
We're on YouTube, too. It's going to be on Instagram. You can find it there. You can have a look back at it. Of course, you can watch it here on Facebook. Timmer, that was a good time. I enjoyed that tonight.
I did, too. I still love that. And Snowbirds and Red Barn opening on Canada Day. Wow.
Solid show. Solid show. Thanks again to the Health House, our sponsor here, our one and only. Of course, you can sponsor too if you'd like to. Get a hold of Tim or I. We can get you as a sponsor on the 3BeerPod. Episode 13. What do we want to say about it, Tim? We're going to say anything, or are we going to leave it out there?
I think we tell them what's going on, Cloudy. I think we got to tell them.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
We're going to take a little hiatus.
We're taking a week off.
Yeah.
Cloudy's going on vacay. Let's throw it out there. You're going on vacation. That's fine. Well deserved.
Next week would have been my birthday, but I'm going to have to celebrate. We're going to have a birthday podcast celebration at some point.
That's season 2. Season 2, episode 1. Christmas Cloud's birthday celebration.
We'll have to celebrate. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks again to Major Retired Chris Hope, one of the coolest names. And don't forget to see Red Barn coming up next week when they kick open the retail store on Canada Day. Thanks for tuning in.